All right, Eagles versus Chiefs matchup breakdown. This is getting filmed right now, Saturday night. By the time you guys see that, this is probably going to be closer to Sunday morning. I apologize for getting these videos out all late, but it is what it is. We are here. This is the Monday night game. Eagles at Chiefs, in my opinion, by far is the game of the week. There's not a ton of good games this week, but this is by far the game of the week. And I mean, I literally have 2.5 pages worth of notes because there are so many ways you can unpack this game. There's just so many variables and just things that, the Chiefs do well and the Eagles don't do well. And there's so many strengths that each team has that the other team has a weakness, and that team can exploit the other team's what let me simplify this. Both teams have strengths that the other team has a weakness at. So there's a lot of things that tie into this game that, I mean, it's going to be a chess match, is what I'm trying to say, all game long. Let's start off with it. So Eagles tied for third in points per game. They have 28 points per game on the season. So one of the best offenses in the league versus one of the best defenses in the league with the Chiefs. The Eagles, hard to defend. Again, they can beat you deep. They can beat you short. Perfect example of this when they played the Jets. The Jets first half played a lot of soft zone coverage, not giving up a big play, and the Eagles just killed them with short slants. But really, in my opinion, because the Jets ended up beating the Eagles and actually did a very good job at defending the Eagles offense in the second half. And that's really why they won. Also, Jalen Hurts throwing interceptions. But how did the Jets beat the Eagles in the second half? And I think the Chiefs are going to take a page out of the Jets' defensive playbook. Basically, how you defend the Eagles is you play a lot more press man-to-man coverage, and you give away that short pass because Jalen Hurts can make that all day. And then you really rely on four guys getting pressure on Jalen Hurts, because if you blitz and play press man-to-man, they're just going to kill you downfield with the deep ball. Jalen Hurts was one of the best deep balls in the league. So you have to rush four and drop seven guys back, play press man-to-man, two safeties over the top to don't give up big plays. You also have to have man-to-man corners who can cover man-to-man versus A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, right? But the Chiefs do have man-to-man corners who can do that, right? L'Jarius Sneed, 0 yards allowed to Miami receivers. And don't forget, Miami has Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill versus this Chiefs defense only got 62 yards, 7.8 yards per catch. Jalen Waddle paired that with 42 yards. So the Chiefs did a very good job against two wide receivers, Hill and Waddle, who are two of the most nightmarish man-to-man matchups in the league. Chiefs shut them down. Like I said, L'Jarius Sneed, one of, if not the best cornerback in the league right now. So the Chiefs have what it takes to play man-to-man, right? And to give you a little bit more of a context, I mean, the Eagles are good against man-to-man coverage as well. The previous number one corner, DaRon Bland, who's with the Cowboys, the Eagles had 128.3 pass rate versus one of the best corners in the league, DaRon Bland. To be fair, though, every time DaRon Bland, the cornerback for the Cowboys, has played a good system, good receiving core, he hasn't done that great. I mean, if you're looking at competition, L'Jarius Sneed has played a lot better receivers than DaRon Bland has. And the Chiefs have had a better schedule, more competition. So, yes, the Eagles did very good against a very highly rated corner in DaRon Bland. But to be fair, DaRon Bland has not played the type of competition that L'Jarius Sneed has played. Kansas City doesn't blitz a ton, which is good. I mean, if you, like I said, drop back 7, rush 4, which is primarily what the Chiefs do, I think you'll have a lot of success against the Eagles offense. They tend to play a lot of two safeties deep, the Chiefs, which is, again, good matchup. And the Chiefs tied for second in the league in sacks, 31 sacks on the season. To give kind of the standouts of this defensive line, George Karlaftis, 6 sacks on the season. Mike Dana, 5 sacks on the season. I believe a 5.5. You obviously have Chris Jones, a baller. I think it's 5.5 as well on the season. So 3 of some of the best defensive linemen in the league right now playing at their best. And expect the Chiefs to kind of exploit the Eagles left tackle, Jordan Mailata, who's been good in the past, but this season has given up 6 sacks. So Hurts, if you play press man to man, Hurts is going to he wants to hold the ball looking for that deep play, and that will allow the Chiefs to get home on Hurts. Again, Hurts is allowing himself to be sacked over 2 times per game. So he does like to hold the ball, does like to look for the big play, and that should play into the Chiefs defensive line very well. Keys for the Eagles on defense versus the Chiefs offense. Again, the Chiefs, well, back to before we get to the offensive side of the ball for the Chiefs, back to the defensive side of the ball for the Chiefs. The one area of weakness that the Eagles will be able to exploit on the Chiefs defense is the Chiefs are not good at stopping the run. 4.6 yards per carry on the season. Now, the Eagles tend to not run the ball as much, but if they are smart in this game, if they can run the ball in this game and stick to the run, they should be successful and they should win this game. It's all about playing your style of football. The Eagles need to play their style of football, which is running the ball. Do not throw it. Run it, because that's how you beat the Chiefs. Chiefs corners are good. Their pass rush is good. Do not play that type of game. Do not sling it all across the field. Run it. So that's kind of the keys on the Chiefs' defensive side of the ball. Now, offensive side of the ball for the Chiefs and defensive side of the ball for the Eagles, here are the keys. Chiefs, 23 points per game. So the Eagles technically have a better offense. 23 points per game, which is 13th in the league. But the Chiefs are very good on third down. They're they're 4th in the league with, so very good on third downs. 17 turnovers by the Chiefs, though. So not great number there. They tend to turn the ball over a little bit. But obviously, as we know, the pass rush for the Eagles is very good. But what's not good for the Eagles is pass defense, 130.5 pass defense rate versus tight ends this season. So they're basically a tight end's dream. What I'm trying to say is the Eagles cannot cover very well tight ends. Their linebacker core is not very good. This should play well into Travis Kelce. This is a weakness that the Chiefs are going to be able to exploit on the Eagles defense. 130.5 pass rate versus tight ends, Eagles defense. Now, they also have not a great secondary either. 99 PFF rate to wide receivers, which is one of the worst in the league as well. So this will kind of bode well for the KC's. Again, we all know that KC doesn't have the greatest receivers. They have a really good tight end, not great receivers. So the fact that the Eagles haven't had that much luck in the secondary bodes well, because the Chiefs don't really have great receivers, so they're going to have a little bit less tougher of a time getting open versus this not great Eagles secondary. So that bodes well for this KC's receivers. Now, Eagles have the 4th highest pressure rate in the NFL. As we know, that defensive line is scary. But the Chiefs have the first rated offensive line in the league with 12 sacks allowed. So they have a very good offensive line versus a very good Eagles defensive line. And it also helps that Patrick Mahomes is going to be able to run around and make plays. right? Same with Jalen Hurts. They're both going to be running around making plays, buying time. So both teams have weaknesses that each other can exploit. You know, the Chiefs aren't great at stopping the run. Eagles can exploit that. The Eagles aren't great at, pass protection. The Chiefs can exploit that. So it's going to be a very fun matchup. So we're going to see. We are going to see, like I said, but when I started this video, this is going to be a clash for the ages because I think it's going to be high scoring. I think both teams are going to be able to really impose their will offensively on this. I think this score is going to be very similar to what it was in the Super Bowl. Super Bowl is 38-35, if I'm not mistaken. Now, the Eagles, how they're going to win this game is imposing their will, not playing the Chiefs want them to how the Chiefs want them to play it, which is slinging the ball around. How the Eagles win this game is by running the ball. But I don't think they're going to do that because they really haven't done that. They really haven't committed fully to the run all season. And I don't know if they're going to do that now. It's a little too easy to trust your all-pro quarterback in Jalen Hurts and say, go out there and be Superman. So without further ado, it's so hard to go into Arrowhead at this point in the season and win. If this game was in Philly, I'd say the Eagles win this because it's very close. Both teams are very well matched. Again, both teams are number one seed, AFC and NFC. Chiefs number one in the AFC, Eagles number one in the NFC. So a lot of tangibles here, but because it is Arrowhead, because it's going to be cold weather, because there's going to be fans, I'm going to say KC wins this one 38-34. And it's almost an identical score to the Super Bowl. But I really do think it's going to be that high scoring. So that's my third and final key to the three games that I broke down. Enjoy, guys. Enjoy your guys' Sunday. Enjoy watching these games because it should be a fun Sunday. So go have a good, I guess, rest of your evening. It's very late here. So happy Sunday, y'all.